August 7th, 2024. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. When you don't do the thing right, you have to press apply. That's why Jeremy Lambert is trying to get by. Hello, Jeremy. How are you?
We don't have a background.
Yeah, we do. Your thing is just doing the thing again. It's it's there. It's just, the thing.
I see it. Now is it away?
Yeah, now it's gone. Now it's back.
Oh, okay.
Look at us.
Didn't show up for me. I'm staring at just like a black background.
Riveting video content.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I was scared there for a second.
Listen, we speak into the void every day. I don't care what you say. We got people telling us that they listen to us on background or listen to us after the fact, listen to us live. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real. Like this, Andrew Zarian, pretty sure that's a bot. I don't think that's Andrew Zarian in our chat.
Why is anybody listening to us?
That's what I've been saying. We've been doing the show for well over a year now. And like people listening to us, why? Why? What do we really have to offer you that you can't already get from going outside? What do we have?
A voice.
That is true. But we do have that. Nice voices. Oh, see, this is the answer. Listen on silent. Honestly, you know what? Do me a favor. You listen on silent. Just bump it up to like 5% volume. Just so it's like a whisper in your ear. Not because we want you to hear us. I don't care. But actually because YouTube does this thing where if you're listening on mute, it doesn't count.
Oh.
Yeah. You and I talked about this years ago, Jeremy. I don't expect you to remember this. But when I was starting out and I was doing Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring, I was asking you were asking me like, can I help? And I said, yeah, I put on the video. You're like, sometimes I put them on, I go to sleep and I just leave them on mute and and it gets more views. I'm like, great, wonderful, wicked. And then we discovered that you actually have to turn up the volume a little bit to actually get the view count.
Joel, who cares? Andrew Zarian is popping me so much with these comments.
It's very good. I wonder if we can get the video Andrew Zarian to show up. Do you think if we say his name, he'll appear?
He's got to be in a wig, though. If he's not going to be in like a wig, it's the only way to do this, to keep this going. If we actually get real Andrew Zarian, it's no fun. I love Andrew Zarian, but we got to keep the bit going here.
I'm being told that Twitter is over capacity, so I can't even send him the link right now if I wanted to. Right. There we go. Now it went. Whether you're here or not, I'm still going to send it your way. Recently heard the camp. Okay, here's a real question. Is camping a good idea? I think camping is a good idea if you're going glamping. Get a nice cabin with a lot of amenities out in the middle of nowhere. Glamping. Go yurt camping. Get a yurt. That's the answer, right?
What is yurt camping? What?
Yurts are like this round kind of cabin-y thing. They're look up a yurt. Y-U-R-T. Like yurts are nice. They're like, I don't know. It's considered glamping, but it's a yurt. It's a circle. It's like no, that's a yeet. That's different. Although now I know that when I eventually have a character in wrestling, I'm just gonna yurt everywhere. It's gonna be
get over
yeet, no yeet, and yurt, and then eventually this guy's gonna come and he's gonna just steal my entire gimmick and my livelihood. Okay. Must be Wednesday. Hello.
I have my Wednesday wig on.
It looks a lot like your Tuesday and Monday wig.
The Wednesday one's good though. Hold on, you reminded me. I gotta save my hair. I have to take my financial ride.
I'm sorry, your financial ride?
Financial ride? Propecia? Yes.
Nice eyebrows.
Hi. Thank you. I have to take my hair meds.
Your hair meds. Why don't they go in your hair? Why aren't they a special
Your hair's on roids?
Yeah. I'm on financial. I'm on 1 milligram of finasteride every day. I'm on everything, dude.
Everything about Andrew Zarian is roids. Okay.
I'll tell you my regimen. I take a bunch of like these mushroom vitamins every morning. I do the lion's mane and the Ricci, whatever my wife gives me because she's like a crunchy mom now. I take my vitamin D. I take my B12s. I take my B6. Then I go and I take my finasteride, 1 milligram of finasteride every day for my hair. Then I take 200 milligrams of TRT, and then I do a 0.20, I think it's milligrams of Samoralin at night that I inject in my stomach. That's my regimen.
Is anything about you like organic, real?
No, I'm toxic. I can't donate blood anymore.
You're a toxic bot. This is the worst. Why do I even do this show? You're everything you've become to hate.
Listen, I don't know why Max went to Turkey. Can we talk about this? I don't know why he went to Turkey to get his hair done. I could have taken care of that I showed this on Beyond the Bell. Nobody believes me. You saw this? Look what I have here.
So I didn't see it, but this
you
is
read this?
Now I'm actually seeing it, and I was watching. I was listening to the show. My God,
I have an award from the Follicular Unit Extraction Conference in Europe. I went to Manchester to get this award. I'm not even kidding you. Manchester 2019. They gave it to me in Manchester United. We're in like the ballroom there. And I'm like, why? Because I'm very powerful in the world of hair loss. That's my secret job. That's my secret thing. That nobody knows.
It's funny because nobody knows what you do.
Every week that's a new job.
Well, how did the Liquid Lunch Express treat you yesterday?
No, that's today.
Oh, is that today?
Wednesday.
I thought it was today.
No, Wednesday. Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday. I guess it.
I'm leaving now.
Oh yeah, got to get an early start, huh?
Maybe I'll get a work. Well, I have to go into the city. I have to go to my office, and then I'm going to meet these degenerates. But maybe I'll find out what happened with Shane.
What degenerates are you meeting?
A couple of my friends that tell me things over lunch.
Okay.
And they're going to tell you what degeneration Shane is all about.
No. But I am curious if there's any progress in WBD stuff.
Of course. I mean, Tony just got back
they're
from
supposed
Paris.
to have a financial call
today.
Yeah, Warner Brothers has a financial call today.
Interesting. Maybe my lunch is canceled then.
Well, depends when the call is and how good they're doing.
4:30. It's at 4:30.
4:30.
Oh, 4:30. Oh, these guys are going to be. Never mind.
They're going to be planning.
Yeah.
Planning. WWE also has their financial call tonight.
Yeah.
Oh no, did it already happen?
Do they?
I'm pretty sure they do because Pollock and Thurston are doing Thursday instead because of the financials.
I think my Mets WWE title belt is here. By the way, I ordered that ridiculous title belt for a friend of mine.
Oh yeah, the Mets belt.
Yeah. I think it's here. I think FedEx just brought it.
Oh baby, I'd say unbox it on the air, but it's not for you.
It's not for me.
Would be good.
Unbox it. But I have to go. I just wanted to stop in and clarify. I am a bot.
Yes.
I was made on the internet. I am not a real person. I'm a figment of all your imaginations.
That's surprisingly accurate.
And you know, Joel, I do want to say this. Why did you ruin me doing my little dance for RJ City?
Because if there's one thing, I actually saved you because what would happen is RJ would say yes, but then he'd make you wait a half an hour before he finally gets to you and lets you do the dance. You don't want to wait a half an hour just for that. You get cold.
No. I got to do my little dance, and then everyone's like, "Look at that boy go! Look at that little boy dance!" And I do my little dance for RJ.
Something tells me you were neglected as a child when it came to the entertainment department.
Yeah, but that's what would happen. They would say, "Look at this little boy dance! Come on, Andrew, dance!" And I do my little dance, and they're like, "Look at that little boy go!"
You were the entertainment. The problem isn't attention. The problem is there was too much attention.
Way too much.
Oh my goodness, that's the problem.
Love you, boys.
Love you too, buddy. Have a good one.
Hi, Zarian.
Oh, Andrew Zarian to kick us off on a wonderful Wednesday morning.
Okay, let's not spread any more false information.
But I want
here.
to. But I want to. It's easier.
The TKO earning call is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Sure. So it's still this week.
Yes, but it's not today.
It's the same thing. Today, tomorrow, time is a flat circle. Yeah, time is a flat circle. Dynamite was actually 3 nights ago.
Don't do that. It's not today. It's tomorrow.
Danielson won the world title like 3 weeks ago, and now time is a flat circle, and we're doing Jarrett versus Danielson tonight on Dynamite for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Because this is the all-out main event.
This is the all-out main event. Tonight is actually all out. Congratulations. AEW Dynamite is now rebranded as AEW All Out, a weekly television series in which Bryan Danielson is its champion and Jeff Jarrett is the challenger. Weekly. Flat circle.
Okay. The financials calls tomorrow at 8 a.m. Super looking forward to that.
I mean, for those who cover that kind of stuff, sure, have fun. It'll be fun. You know what you'll hear? It's been a great time. We're doing our best. We have a lot of money coming in and a lot of sponsors. And now we're painting the ring skirts and ring sides with sponsors. And our sponsors are paying us a lot of money. And our money is being given back to what? Our pockets. And the wrestlers, some of them are making more. And we're going to Berlin. And what will happen in Berlin? More money. Congratulations. I just did the earnings call.
Yeah, too bad. I still have to watch it or listen to it or whatever I got to do and transcribe.
I feel like watching it would be much more entertaining than listening to it.
It would have been entertaining when Vince was still there and barely could stand up and probably was hunched over.
Someone had to poke him with a stick. Hey, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Anyway, lots to talk about this week. Lots to talk about today. We're 3 days a week. We do this Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern until noon. Sometimes later, sometimes not. Listen, we set our own schedule when it comes to it, but we know when we start. And by the way, we start when you leave a thumbs up on the video. So go ahead and do that if you haven't already, and subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. That stuff goes a long way. The interaction is what people want in the YouTube verse. They want to see your comments. They want to see your thumbs up. They want to see all the good stuff, sharing it with friends, all that stuff you want to tell them about in the weeds. Go ahead. That's how you do it. And if you want to support us elsewhere, you can leave a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. What was that bewilderment facial expression?
So, as people may or may not know, I've been making shorts for these shows.
Oh, you saw the numbers, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you use WWE content to get it. And that's why
I don't care how I get it. Everyone else does.
I'm not complaining. I'm just stating a fact. You make your point and you put it over the footage. People are going to watch. That's fine.
I learned.
Yeah.
I've learned. I figured this out a little bit.
Let's keep doing it. Let's keep rolling with it. Interact with our shorts because those things are great. They're doing numbers. We're going to do more numbers than the Fightful account when it comes to shorts. And you know how we're going to do it? Hot takes. Hot takes and the silliest shit you can think of. That's going to get our shorts over. And we're going to get Kate banned from all social media platforms, not just Twitter, all of them. How you doing, Jeremy? How was your Tuesday?
I don't know. I worked like I always do.
For those who don't know, Tuesday was yesterday. If you're flat circling, you just worked all day.
Yes.
It was the pause and the internet going out that did it. Oh man. Well, where do you want to start? You want to start with Raw? Or do you want to talk about last night's NXT? Because I'll tell you this much: last night's NXT didn't do a lot for me until the main event, and we can get into that.
There was no Thea Hale on NXT, so I didn't care.
She had a little backstage segment with Chase U where she just made faces and looked applauded.
Not enough.
They're getting a tag title shot next week. They're probably going to win.
Maybe.
Oh, this is a good question from Louis. He's asking in the Weeds earnings call when. I feel like us doing an earnings call would go absolutely perfect. Friday.
We would get canceled.
Friday is the earnings call. If Dynamite is just a show, we'll do a Friday earnings call.
No, Joel. We need to do the earnings call before, because they sometimes do them like before or after big shows and everything. The earnings call needs to be, I guess that might be a media call. Maybe not an earnings call. We're gonna do a media call.
Oh, we've done so many of these. It's time for a new bit.
It's been a while though. It's been a long time actually.
Fair.
Before the SpongeBob Shaw, we're going to do a media call. That's the perfect time to do it. We're going to go head to head with Tony Khan's call because he's going to do his all in media call. We're going to go head to head with that.
Then we might do better numbers. Shout out to our pal, Cole Roderick. We'll have him come and lead the call. Maybe we'll let him moderate. But
He's gonna try to. He's. I don't feel like he's a good moderator.
He's more of an instigator. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
He's a very good instigator.
very much an instigator.
You're going through that table so much. Maybe Louis will help you. He's going to be at the show, right?
Yeah, Louis for some reason is gonna go to this show.
That is. There it is. Listen, Kate is full of getting timed out if she's not careful today. I'm going to do it. So let's talk NXT real quick, just because there was really the only one thing. It's just the one thing I want to talk about, and that is the Wesley spot. Wesley turned on his pal. He turned on his best pals. They left. He was left alone. He doesn't have friends, so he took it out on his best friends. Well, here's the thing. First thing, I kind of made an allusion to this on, I think, either Monday show or Friday show, and I said I don't think the Rascals are going to win the tag titles, and that was because TNA was going to be taping that weekend, and NXT wasn't going to allow the Rascals to have the NXT tag team titles at the TV tapings, and NXT wasn't going to be like, well, we're not just going to have the tag team. You know, it just wasn't going to work out. The sequence of time, as flat as of a circle as it is, it wasn't going to work out. So instead, Rascals lost the tag title shot. God bless Trey Miguel, trying to get into every shot that he could, and then eventually took the shot in the face. And that was it. Wesley has basically cast aside his buddies, and now the Rascals go back to TNA, and they go back to what they were doing. And you know what? Knowing what they're doing coming up the next few weeks, I'm not against it. There's some good stuff, but tag titles just weren't for them. I know you're probably just going to say, okay, and then we're going to move on, right? Or do you actually have a thought on this whole thing? Someone asked me, did TNA approve the booking move? I can guarantee you that they are talking about how these things play out. And I'm going to remind everyone, WWE has all of the leverage in how this goes. So let's not play the TNA's getting screwed game, but let's remember who is where on the depth chart here.
Yeah, TNA approved the booking, and that Shawn Michaels was like, this is what we're going to do. And they were like, sounds good, Shawn. Thanks, man.
See you then. And then, you know what? Listen, Fightful Select was reporting that Josh Alexander, there's been talks about having Josh Alexander join the fray, and Joe Hendry last night. They kind of made it sound like a mix between a send-off / I'll show up when I want. It feels like they're just, the bridge is open, but only so many people can cross at a time. So if Josh is the next one, sure, why not? The Wesley heel turn as it stands, listen, this is the last phase of any NXT development. And you know this, you turn them. If they have been on one side of the depth chart for so long, you turn them heel, you let them have that experience so that when they move up, guess what? They've had the experience. Braun Breaker, same thing. Why do they turn a babyface? Because he's got to get that rep in. He's got to understand how to work like a babyface, how to work like a heel. Roxanne Perez, another perfect example. She's learning how to work like a heel because she's been working like a babyface for so long. After that, she's going back to Raw or SmackDown, or going up to Raw or SmackDown. That is how NXT works. So anyway, on the Wesley stuff, please go ahead.
Well, the turn was fine. Like, they did it well. We won't see the Rascals again. So, all right. Like, Wesley being a heel, it's kind of what you said. He kind of done everything he needed to do as a babyface. They got Javon Evans sort of in that spot where he's the hot new thing who does a lot of cool athletic moves. And Wesley had already lost his shot to go after the North American title. He could have moved up and challenged Ethan Page. I actually think that would have been a cool program, but clearly they don't have any designs for that. So they turned him heel, and now we'll see what he does as a heel. He still can't challenge for the North American title. I don't know what he's going to do as a heel. Maybe faces Trick Williams, although Trick lost to Pete Dunne last night. But yeah, Javon Evans is kind of that guy now. And so they figured Wesley was better off as a heel. And it is like you said, they like everyone to work both ways down there before they get called up. If you've been a babyface for a while, now you're going to be a heel for a little while, and then you'll be moved to the main roster. So I imagine Wesley will be main roster after probably next year's draft, after he does a full heel run for the next 8 months or whatever.
Someone asking if the Rascals going to show up in NXT again. They could. Who knows? Right now they have other plans for them in TNA for the next little bit. Not going to spoil it. You can watch on Thursday to get an idea of where they're going. But other than that, it was just, we're back to Wesley being the focus of the story. He always was when it came to the TNA NXT crossover with the Rascals. And then they had Wes work Slammiversary and the TV tapings, and that was great. I'm glad they did that. But it was always about moving Wesley, forward in NXT. He's at the end of his NXT run. And I mean that in the way that he will inevitably get called up, because this is someone that WWE clearly likes and they want him to succeed. So here we go. Looking forward to whatever they're going to do with his heel run.
It's going to be on speed.
Probably. Is he gonna kick Obafemi in the dick and win the North American Championship?
He can't challenge for the title as long as Obafemi's the champ.
Right. I had forgotten, and I was at that show. Good match.
I literally just said this.
No, you didn't. I was too busy looking at TNA telling me that 10 years ago today, Bully Ray puts Dixie Carter through a table. They love to remind
the show sometimes, Joel.
I pay attention to many shows, including TNA telling me that Dixie was put through a table 10 years ago today. I got nothing else on the NXT front. I just wanted to bring that up because we talked about it. Raw, however,
needed more Thea Hale.
Yes, Raw needed more Thea Hale as well.
That's true. Oh, let's not get into Raw real fast. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Shut up, Louie.
It's true, though. If Dixie can take a table...
Dixie Carter's got millions of dollars, all right? You give me millions of dollars, I'll take that table bump. No complaints at all. I ain't got that kind of money.
Well, that money was being used so that it could be putting her through a table at Hammerstein Ballroom.
I ain't got that kind of money, all right? You give me that much money, I will take it.
I mean, she was spending that money in order to do the spot.
Yeah, well, she spent it because she had it.
I don't know if she ever really had it, but yes, I understand.
Somebody in her family had it.
There it is. Absolutely. Come on, Jeremy. What happened to your love for this great business?
No. I like the business when I'm not getting hurt.
What about like carpal tunnel? Does that count as like not liking the business?
Yeah, I could. Maybe I can file something for that. My hands cramp up.
Yeah.
A lot, I'm saying.
Got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Ice your hands, wear the gloves, do things the right way.
I used to have a stress thing around here that I'd squeeze and keep my hands nice and warm.
Yeah, those are good. I don't have that because I don't write at the same level that you do.
So,
yes,
I've had questions, comments, statements about my not used but fumbles headline that people can see on the screen right there. Like, what does this mean, Jeremy? This is actually true. I have had people ask this. Nobody in the chat. Nobody in the chat cares. But there's a report.
Attention.
Yeah, fair. There's a report from Ibu of Wrestle Purist that Lucha Bros are going to be leaving AEW, expected to be in WWE. I don't think Sean's put anything out there on it, but there's been a lot of contract talk of Lucha Bros anyway when it comes to them potentially leaving AEW. And I have found the discourse surrounding this very hilarious in that you see one side and they're all like, oh, how'd they not do more with the Lucha Bros? They fumbled. They should have been bigger stars, blah, blah, blah. And then the other side is like, well, they weren't being used. So is it really that big of a loss? You know, it's not like they were being on television anyway. So, okay, we're not going to get these Lucha Bros matches, but they weren't being used. It's okay. Now other guys can have that spot. I don't think either are wrong, by the way, but here's why I find it hilarious. Because 2 weeks ago, everyone was having the same conversation, but flip-flopped. And they were having that same conversation with Bobby Lashley of, oh, how could they fumble Bobby Lashley? How is this possible? How could they not use Bobby Lashley more? Fumble, fumble, fumble. And the other side was, well, it's not being used on television, so it's not that big of a loss. It's okay. We're all having the same conversation. We're all having the same thing. It just depends on whose side is he on? Whose side are they on? And you can tell very clearly who's on whose side by the conversation they are having. Here are my actual thoughts on the Lucha Bros. It's the same thing as it was with Bobby Lashley. Could they have been used better? Yes. Could they have done more? Yes. Could they be on TV right now in some capacity in the tag team division helping it? Yes. Are they? No. That's not my call. I don't book the shows. But right now, they're not being used. So is it this big loss that people are saying? At the moment, no, because they're just not being used on television all that much. You can put somebody else in that spot. Maybe you can use them a little bit better than you've used the Lucha Bros. They had other plans for other people. The Lucha Bros weren't included. I think that's unfortunate. I think they could have been used better. The same way I said with Bobby Lashley, probably could have been in a better spot. But Triple H saw Bobby Lashley as one thing and didn't use him as much. Tony Khan sees the Lucha Bros as one thing, doesn't use them as much. Okay. Nobody's fumbled. They could have done more. They should have done more. It happens in wrestling. It's a good thing that people now have good options to go elsewhere to do other things.
It's also very funny as you talk about the comparison to the Bobby Lashley conversation. When this all started, people were pointing out Bobby Lashley's accomplishments in WWE, and very quickly with the report with the Lucha Bros, people were very quickly pointing out both guys as a tag team in singles, their successes in AEW. And it comes to a point where it's like, okay, like you said, could they be used more? Of course, anyone can be used more, especially if they have that talent. Are they fumbled? No, they're just not part of the plans right now. And it happens to be at a time when their contract is coming up and maybe there were talks and they said, we don't know. And then they decided, okay, well, if you don't know, then we're not going to invest in you. And if you're not going to be invested in, then you're going to look elsewhere. And if somewhere else says we're going to invest in you, and that's both TV time, financially, whatever it is that they're looking for, then you go there. That's just the way it works. That is how jobs work. You go where the opportunity and the money is. You don't go for just the one thing. And it's okay that right now, if they decide they're going to go that way, then great, all the power to them. If they decide after the end of their contract that they're going to go back to AEW, or maybe go to AAA, or maybe they're going to go to CMLL, or maybe they're going to go to TNA, or back to wherever. Maybe they're going to restart Lucha Underground. I don't know. But the point is, that would be sweet. They will have enough money by that point. They could just buy it and restart it. Either way, they had a really, really, really solid run in AEW. And to deny that is just denying the reality of how wrestling can be. You're not on top for 20 years. This isn't Bruno anymore. You have your time, and sometimes you go up and down the card accordingly. That's fine. Lucha Bros are now having the opportunity to go elsewhere and potentially go up and down the card accordingly. It just comes down to what they wanted. So people are also mentioning, the injury bug did hit both men often as well, which sucks. And now they're back and seemingly healthy, so they want to see what we do. Corey saying we don't talk about Bruno. That's true. Bruno was a league of his own. I tell you what, lifting weights until the day he died.
With the Lucha Bros, they were used very well in AEW for when they had a lot of focus on the tag and the trios division. Right now, they haven't had a whole lot of focus on either division. The tag division is really gone by the wayside. The trios, they're trying to reestablish that on Collision, but they're doing it with just a bunch of heel teams. And so I'm not super interested. It's not really for me right now. Hopefully they pick it up and throw in some actual teams I can get behind on that. The Lucha Bros were always over, though. I don't know if they could have done more with them. Penta's Penta. Penta, bless him. One of the smartest workers ever. He don't bump. He ain't going out of his way to do a bunch of stuff. Love Penta. Phoenix will go, he'll go out of his way to pull off the high risk moves. I do think one thing they could have done more is just in the marketing of them. I don't know if they sold Pentagon masks. I certainly never saw enough of them to where you would think they were a thing. Maybe it was a copyright thing. Maybe they couldn't do it to where the level they should have been able to do it. This is a merch department problem in all of AEW, though, where their merch is not near the level it should be for a company that was founded on a t-shirt company, which when people make fun of AEW, I'm like, oh, it's a t-shirt company. You're basically just saying yeah, they can print a t-shirt immediately about anything, but literally, but they don't actually sell the t-shirts that they should be selling where they should be selling them. I went to the WWE Superstore on SummerSlam weekend. Did you go the Money in the Bank one, Joel?
Yeah, so I did, and it's funny going back to where you went, that Clock Tower Mall or whatever it is, when we came in for your wedding, We went there first since we flew into Cleveland, and we went there because we had some time and we were downtown. We took the rail that goes from the airport, and we were like, why is this so empty? And then we would figure out why, and yada yada. So when they said that's where the Superstore was for SummerSlam, I was like, oh, I remember this place. It's so empty.
Oh, it was busy. It was busy this past weekend.
I heard.
I'll tell you that much.
I heard it was, but yeah, we did go to the one at the Rec Room, and it's funny because it was in the same spot where like Smash Wrestling ran their shows, and if anyone was at Forbidden Door last year in Toronto, that's where Smash ran like the dual show with Femme Fatale, all that stuff. So yeah, that's a big open space that they have, and that's where they put the Money in the Bank Superstore.
So you know this, Joel. They got so much shit in there. So much. They're selling Cody Rhodes like hoodies that looks like his jacket and everything. They got so much stuff in there and for you to like look at and buy. Like, it is insane the amount of stuff that you can get at these superstores. And you go to the events, and it's the same thing when at the merch stands at the events. Like, they got merch stands on the floor at the WWE events, especially at the big stadium shows. I don't know how it is so much at the arena shows because it's a smaller space, but stadium shows, they got the merch stand on the floor for people to have access to. And then they're, of course, all around the concourse as well. It's insane the amount of merch that WWE allows their fans to like look at and purchase at these shows compared to AEW, where all you hear is like, oh, lack of merch on this, lack of merch on that. The Revolution show was pretty eye-opening of like, they ran out of Sting stuff, which is a good thing in the fact that they ran out, but also how did you not prepare to like oversell your Sting merchandise for his last show? I'm looking on the AEW shop right now. There's no Penta mask. Again, maybe it's a copyright thing. So I don't want to be like, well, they're dropping the ball on not selling this mask, when it could just be like he doesn't want it sold. He wants to sell it through himself. That's a very possible, realistic scenario there. But if it is something they could sell, they should be printing these things. People love these lucha masks. They should have a bunch of these to be sold. I think that's where, if they drop the ball anywhere, it came into the merchandising of them, because everyone's looking for the next Rey Mysterio, except Rey Mysterio is still around and still going at a high level. And AEW had something with the Lucha Bros. Like, I was there at All Out 2021, and they were the most over act on that show outside of CM Punk, and then of course Danielson and Cole debuted. But like, they were super over in that building, and it felt like there could have been more capitalization outside of the wrestling ring with it. Penta's doing stuff with George Kittle that you never hear about because WWE just scooped up George Kittle and was like, we claim him now.
No, take Bailey instead. You get Bailey.
Like, it felt like there could have been more capitalization on them outside of wrestling. And that's where they may have missed the boat with the Lucha Bros. Not so much in the ring and on the screen, where they did pretty well in the tag division. They just haven't had a focus on tag division. So it is what it is.
The mask thing, I keep thinking about it because I have on my Amazon wish list, I do have a Penta mask, but I know it's not a licensed mask. And you mentioned Mexico. Like, man, I forget who it was, but there was someone on Twitter that had mentioned, you go to Mexico, you go to a show at Arena Mexico, and you see everyone and their mother wearing a mask, because that's just part of the culture. That's just part of the fandom. And I'm not saying that AEW needs to take that and do that. I'm saying that when your wrestler wears a mask, someone mentioning, do they have hologram masks? Like, hologram is a Tony Khan creation. That's a mask that he can have made because he licensed everything around it. I'm assuming it's his idea. There should be no reason why hologram doesn't have a mask for sale, both online and at shows. This is always the funny. Yeah, there was a lady with an AEW mask, someone says in the chat, and I saw that as well. That stuff is great. If you could do an AEW mask, great. I'm sure I would love it. Like, I have my Ray mask, and I have my LA Park mask. I would love more. I would love to do more, but also I just don't have the money or the time to start collecting masks as much as I would love to.
But a lot of people do.
But that's what I'm saying, is that there are a lot of people who do and who absolutely would and would have a ball with that. I could do it. I don't have the money. Like a Beast Mortos mask, man, if I could get that mask, it's massive. It is massive. His head is not that big in real life, I'll tell you that much. So this is, again, it's a whole long-standing conversation that people have had, including us, about AEW and the merch department and what's going on. And hopefully it starts to grow, because once Dana Massey left, there was some positive movement, but at the live shows, more stuff needs to be there. There needs to be just more. I don't know what that looks like, how they do it. That's not my job. It's not one that I've applied for either, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just wondering, what's it going to take? What's it going to take to get that type of merch and that type of ability to sell that much out the door? Because you go to those. This is the one cool thing about the WWE stuff. When they talk about how much of a boost to the economy that they give, it's not just the money that's paid out by the local government or anything like that. The money that comes back is also WWE hiring a bunch of local workers to do these gigs, to work these big shops. Those are all local, just people who apply for the job. It's a gig for them for the weekend. They get paid. I don't know how much. It could be minimum wage, but it doesn't matter. It's still money that gets paid out. That's a cool opportunity for people to have or need a job for a weekend. I don't know how it works in the arenas. I know that WWE has their merch people that go on the road with them, but they also have other people that come in and work for the various arenas, or maybe they work solo on a gig. But again, it's just more opportunities for people to make money. So just need more merch, AEW, at your live shows. That's all it comes down to. And good merch. Start putting different colors out. There's more. I know I wear a lot of black, and that's just by design. I also typically wear, and Jeremy can attest to this, I usually wear a shirt over top of my black shirts. So like I wear something colorful over top of this. This is just like an undershirt almost, but it's a black V-neck. There are more than just black shirts out there that you can put a logo on. I promise it'll be okay.
I'm like, the black shirt thing is whatever. That's just typically what they make. Yes, you can do more with that, but when it comes to just the merch overall, it's got to be more than just like AEW was here, AEW was in your town shirts. Like that's where it's like all they sell at the live events. They might have an MJF shirt, they might have an Ospreay shirt, and that's like it. The merch.
I was going to say, like, WWE does the I Was Here shirt as well. They do a tour shirt, or at least they used to. You would do the big events, and then they would also, if they're doing house show loops or TV loops, like you'll have the I Was Here for this tour, but then they have the superstar shirts, and those are obviously about the wrestlers. But yeah, AEW moved into this, or I guess they've always been you're supporting AEW as a whole, and therefore the merchandise reflects the same. And it doesn't need to be that way. You should have a favorite wrestler.
Willow shirts would be good. A lot of people like the specific town and state shirts, and like I get that. I do think people enjoy wearing those shirts, and people will buy those shirts, but there's just a lack of variety overall when it comes to that kind of stuff with AEW. Like if you want your AEW I Was There shirt, cool, no problem. But other people want to support their favorite wrestlers as well. And a lot of times, unless you've ordered it online, like if you go to the show, probably not going to be able to support your favorite wrestler. There was no Danielson shirts at Revolution when I was there. Like, there was just nothing for Bryan Danielson. I was like, well, glad I'm here to see Sting, because if I was here to see Bryan Danielson, I wasn't going to be able to get anything. There's a lack of overall wrestler merchandise at these shows.
This is one thing that I always remember, one thing that sticks with me. When Nick Khan was just starting to give interviews about his WWE role, he talked about merchandise, and the talk was, we're going to start doing localized merchandise. And that started to work. They would do the city name 316 shirts, and for a first run, those things sold out everywhere. Houston 316, Toronto 316, whatever it is, those would always do really well. In Toronto for Money in the Bank, they had an Austin Matthews, so it was just Austin, but Auston. That's how he spells his name. 316 shirt, and it was white with the blue because of the maple leaf colors, and that did really well. So going back to like AEW when they do the city specific stuff, that can look really cool.
Oh,
Blackpool
this-
Combat Club, the Ohio one, the Buckeye Combat Club, that did really cool numbers. There is some cool city specific gear that comes out, but again, you need to have the wrestler gear as well, and you need to wear this stuff.
This is what I noticed at the Superstore for WWE is, you know, it's in Cleveland. So you got the Guardians, you got the Cavs, you got the Browns. Those are kind of the big Cleveland teams. They had like basketball jerseys that were basically Cavaliers basketball jerseys, but they were WWE Cleveland basketball jerseys. Same things like Guardians colored shirts, Browns colored shirts. So you're still like supporting WWE, but it's also city specific. So you're also supporting Cleveland. Like that stuff plays very well, more than just like I was there, black shirt, AEW, WWE, I was there. Like if you do city specific like colors and stuff, like team colors, that stuff plays really, really well with a lot of fans. I saw a lot of people at SummerSlam wearing those like Guardian shirts and Cavs like jerseys that were SummerSlam like branded shirts and jerseys and jerseys, because they were also supporting again like the local kind of teams. That goes a lot more than they had the Cleveland 316 shirts, which sold well, and I think those are always going to do well. But
I'm guessing the Cleveland shirts were the Cleveland 316 shirts were also done with an orange font this time, or an orange colored font.
Yeah, they had different ones. They had orange for the Browns, and then they had Guardians like red and stuff, which I guess could also technically be kind of Cavs-ish colors.
But regardless, like that's what it's supposed to be. You're taking the city colors and you're incorporating it into your merchandise. Like Big Man Doc, this is what's really funny. And like I'm saying this because it's true. It's a logistical issue potentially. He says, I assume it'd be a logistical issue that they haven't hired. He said, hired, not tired, competent people who can run their merch business. Well, the irony is that when AEW started, everyone ragged on them as, quote, being a t-shirt business, because that's all they were selling was you go to Pro Wrestling Tees and you buy a t-shirt. But they haven't been able to take that stuff on the road properly. And that is what really makes it almost laughable to a point, that it's like, why haven't you figured it out? I know it's been 5 years and you're still working with the same providers. Why aren't we moving forward in that regard? That's one of my main criticisms when it comes to AEW and the merch department, is that how many years did you hear, oh, t-shirt department, ha ha ha. Give us more t-shirts on the road. Give us more sellable stuff on the road. That's all it is.
Paul Driver Finisher mentioning, I agree. Also, those baseball button shirts. Yeah, basically, it's a baseball jersey. That's what it is. Like they had Guardians like baseball jerseys at SummerSlam. The wife is confirming. Just says a lot of jerseys with SummerSlam and the name spot. Yeah, it just says SummerSlam instead of the name, and then 24 on the jersey for the year. So many of those just walking around SummerSlam. Whether it was a Cavs looking jersey, a Guardians looking shirt jersey. Again, those are baseball jerseys, or a Browns jersey. Like, they just market them as SummerSlam jersey, but it's localized to the sports team, and people want those. Like, those things sell.
It's funny because I have the WrestleMania 18 jersey. It's like a mesh shirt. People have seen this before, but I've got the 18 jersey. I think it was $60. This was in 2002. And then I went to WrestleMania 23 at Ford Field in Detroit. They had the baseball jersey. I have that as well. I believe that was 120, and that was only 5 years later. So like, I don't know how much they're selling for now, but they've got to be at least $100 for the jerseys, which is absolutely insane.
Oh, they're priced all the hell, but
they're being purchased. They're collectibles. Like, that's why when I went to SummerSlam in 2021, I've shown this before, but like, I'll pull it out again because it's sitting right here. Like, I was looking for some kitschy thing, and I got the coin, the SummerSlam coin. Here we go. Let's get that in focus. This is the I was there coin. It was $10, and it's a casino chip. It's a legit chip. Has the logo, has the date, has the event, and like, that was great. I loved it. So that's, you got to get good merch that gets people wanting to buy it. Collectible one run stuff that really gets you invested in what you're selling, what your product
has. Like, I'll pull up some photos here because I sent Jensen a bunch of photos because he of course wanted what.
It's just all Cody stuff.
Yeah, well, that's legitimately what it is. Look at hopefully people can see it. Look at this friggin' Cody Rhodes like hoodie jacket that you could buy.
That's amazing. And that's
like legit.
I do wonder how much of the Fanatics, work has gone into bringing more of that stuff out. Like not the designs or anything, but bringing more of that gear with them when they're on the road, because they already had the superstores. That was always a thing for the last few years for the major events, but now they're doing them like all the time. They're opening up a shop. Elimination Chamber in Montreal, they took out like a pretty sizable retail space, and I put up photos and videos at the time, and they had a lot of gear there, and it was a lot of city-centric stuff, a lot of Montreal stuff, the Hab stuff. Sami Zayn had the honorary Oos and the honorary Hab. That was like that went gangbusters.
This is people can see the Cody shirt. It's the Cleveland Nightmare shirt. That's where, again, just it's wrestler specific, but it's also city specific. So it's like, oh, I can support my hometown and my favorite wrestler. Yeah, I want to definitely do that. Like that kind of stuff just goes such a long way. Look at this nonsense look at this Cody jersey that people can maybe see there. Like
it's so ugly, but people will buy it.
Oh, people 100%. They got so many hats and everything, all this stuff you could buy. This was packed, but look, it's Cody. It's the world title and it's pictures from WrestleMania. This thing was like $1,500 too, if you wanted that nonsense. But like they have so much stuff that you could buy at this superstore. Like I was honestly in awe of how much stuff there actually was. And then the day after, it was still open, and then they sold out of all the Roman stuff because they put that up for sale the day after. And that was completely sold out by the end of the day. Like they sold those Roman Reigns title belts. They sold out of all of those real quickly. So, man, WWE does a really good job when it comes to the marketing and the merchandising and getting that stuff in stores and in people's hands quickly. Speaking of like that Cody jersey and everything, you saw the jersey hoodie that I bought at the Hockey Hall of Fame with the Avs, which I was really happy. Like it was a really cool kind of just custom thing that I've never seen anywhere else, but it was at the Hockey Hall of Fame. So I bought it. So it's like it's a pullover. It's a hoodie, but it looks like a jersey, but it's not like an actual Avs. I have it actually over there. I'd get it if I cared enough. But like it was really cool. And like they didn't have a whole lot of other teams. Like the only other teams they have were the Canadians and the Avs. And I was like, okay, well, I got to buy this because it's something that it's not a full-on hoodie, like a fleece hoodie, but it's really nice. The wife is coming in to just like hand it to me. Thank you. Look at this thing. It's like a jersey, but it's not that like the Avs don't wear this jersey. I like the ties on the front, but it's also got the hoodie on it. This thing's going to get so much use in this house. The wife steals my hoodies all the time. So it's going to get.
They sell those on Shop NHL too. Just as you're frozen, and when you come back, I'll say it again. But yeah, there you go. You're back. They sell them on Shop NHL because I've seen them for the Ducks and I've seen them for the Sens.
Okay.
But you found them. But you found it at the Hockey Hall of Fame. They had a physical location, and that is a cool. I've always loved those hoodies. They also cost so much money when you buy them full price.
I was so happy with this thing. I don't know if when I heard of it's gonna get so much use in my house during the winter because the wife steals all my hoodies and stuff. I was so happy. So the price tag on it was like $100, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But it said 50% off, and so I asked the store person. I was like, is this the price already with 50% off, or is this the price without the 50% off? And they're like, no, it's without, so it'd be $50. I was like, you know what? I'm sold. $50 for this thing. I know how much this is going to get. Yeah, I'm getting this thing. So it's a really cool little jersey that I just found at the Hockey Hall of Fame. And I would have never known about it otherwise because I don't go on Shop like NHL unless I'm bought this off Shop NHL after we won the cup. But yeah, you need some of this physical stuff there so people can see it. And then once it's in front of them like that, especially if you're at the show, you're at the event and stuff, you're like, oh, I don't know if I would have bought this if I was just looking online, but here, now that I'm here, now that it's in front of me, I want to take in the experience more. Yeah, let me buy this. Like you need that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's always good to have. And so fuck it mentions that Penta sells the Penta mask at their shop, right? They have one in California, and that kind of brings us around. Matt Logan, not Logan. Sent a super chat saying Lucha Bros gave up wrestling in Mexico. And hey, if that's the case, then sure. I mean, I'm sure they would like to go back as long as they're getting paid well to do it. Check the stuff. Your partner mentions the Fiend belt.
Oh yeah, we saw a real life Fiend belt. We saw somebody wearing a Fiend belt. I saw somebody wearing the Danielson hemp belt as well. We saw somebody. Oh, Ella J will confirm this because we were walking from the superstore. It was Ella J, Jose, JPJ, and Pluggo. All four of them can confirm this.
A lot of J's. That's a lot of J's.
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. So we were walking from the superstore back to WrestleCon. There was a group full on NWO regalia. They had the NWO shirts. Every single one of them had a title belt. Like it was nuts. These title belts. I've never been a title belt guy, but I know that you see them at shows, right? You always see them. Like it's crazy. Like when I jokingly tweeted of like, oh, can confirm there's a lot of wrestling fans in Cleveland. I was downtown Cleveland on Saturday to go to like WrestleCon and the Superstore and everything. So many people walking around with title belts and shirts and everything. Like it's insane how much mileage they get out of this stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. You think any of them won an NWO flag?
Probably. You probably could have sold it.
Yeah, don't ask me who it's signed by because he's a racist. I got it for free. I won it in 2019. I'm waiting for him to die so I can donate the proceeds to. Anyway, apparently it's got a price on it of 120 USD. So I guess that was the value of the flag. It's an NWO flag with a well-known racist brother signature. It's not his brother. He says brother a lot. But anyway, I won that. I also won something else at that particular show that I couldn't take home. I think it was like a subwoofer. It's like, how am I going to take a giant? It was like a car subwoofer. And I'm like, how am I going to take this shit back from Phoenix to Toronto? I have zero carry-on baggage. I ended up giving it to someone. I think I gave it to like the family that was being supported through this raffle. I was like, please take it. And they're just like, we'd be happy to. And I'm like, fantastic. Everybody wins. So anyway, that flag, it's for sale. Make me an offer. Pay for the shipping, I guess. Especially Canadians. I don't want it. Yeah, so there's a lot of merchandise that gets walked up and down those streets when these shows come to town, and it's pretty wild. It's spot the wrestling fan, and I hope that AEW starts taking more stock in that. I hope that TNA does the same thing because the $50 for a shirt thing is bugging me, but people are going to pay for it, so go for it. Why not?
Again, when you're at the shows, it's very hard to like resist that kind of stuff. Like it's when you are there, and especially if you've waited in line for like 2 hours, like you want to feel like you did not just waste your time in 2 hours. So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to buy something to make me feel better about how much time I just spent in this line. When you're at the shows, it's very hard to not want to just pay it right because you get it immediately, right? If you're ordering online, it's one thing because you got to wait and stuff. But like you're at the show, you're there, you're in line. Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna. The line's not quite 2 hours, but like some people do wait. I remember Revolution. I waited in line for a Sting shirt for a good 45 minutes to get one of these shirts. And by the time I got up there, most of them were like gone anyway. So it like kind of sucked, but I'd been up there by that point. Like I wanted the shirt. And I didn't know. I'm sure I could have gotten it online, but like, you're there again. Once you wait in line that long, it's like, well, yeah, I just want to get something because you want to wear it during the show. You want to tell everybody after that you got it and stuff. So like, put as much merchandise as you can out there because people who go to these shows, they want to buy this shit. They do.
Because this is their one chance to buy it live and in person too. That's a big thing. Like, yes, people are pointing out you can buy it online and just save yourself the hassle. But like for some, it's the experience of having it in your hands the moment you walk up and see it. Like you said, you see this stuff, you want to interact with it, you want it in your hand. That is the big part about the merchandise experience. And it's the same thing in any sporting event. I go to a Sens game and I want to go to the Sens shop and look around and, look at the pucks and look at the jerseys and the hoodies and the shirts and whatever. Check out what's on clearance. And it's maybe an old player that I liked that got traded away, and I can get their shirt with a Sens logo on it for $10 instead of 25. That's some people want to do that. So I understand. And then for the middle of the road, you go to those super stores and you can buy the stuff online and then walk up to the counter and they'll bring it to you. And that way everybody wins. So the merch stuff is always interesting to me because I haven't owned wrestling merchandise in a very long time. I supported a few wrestlers that I always really liked on the indies, and I bought their t-shirts. And then after that, I started doing more of this, and I was like, I got to find other ways to support the wrestlers that I like. And I just figured, well, I can use this platform and I can, do conversational stuff. And then maybe that's more valuable in my world because I'm not always wearing their shirts, but people want to support the wrestlers that they like. They want to wear their shirts. They want to put it out there that they're a fan of this person. Go ahead and do it. And then buy that stupid NWO flag from me.
It's like I just mentioned with the Hockey Hall of Fame. Like I would have never known about that Avs hoodie jersey because I don't search online for that kind of stuff, but it's right there in front of me. And I saw it was discounted. I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy this thing. If they put those Roman Reigns, I don't know about if I would have gotten the OTC shirt. That levels above hoodie though. That thing always looks so sweet. If that thing was in front of me and discounted, I'd buy that thing in a heartbeat. It might not even have to be discounted. But like I would buy that thing. That's a good looking jersey or hoodie right there. Like just a good looking design. I'm frozen. Now
you're frozen. As you said it, you were frozen. I got a message from Jeremy's from the ITW anonymous general manager.
I'm gonna switch my internet. Hold on.
Okay, while you do that, this message resonates with me. I get mad about paying more than $8 for a t-shirt. Every time we go to a show, Jeremy offers to buy me a shirt. There's not a single thing worth standing in line for. I cannot deal. I am that person too. I cannot spend more than a few dollars on a t-shirt. I can be cheap like that. I will shop the clearance rack. I do not need to spend more than $10 on a t-shirt. This is a message that was sent to me by your wonderful prolific wife. About
I don't know what the message was. I didn't hear it.
It was about spending more than $8 on a t-shirt and then waiting in line for it. And I agree with that because I don't like to spend that much money on a shirt. I want reasonably priced stuff, especially when it's comfortable.
Yeah, we went to Offspring last year. Maybe it was earlier this year. I had no concept of time. But she was like, oh, I don't want to spend this much on a shirt. She's like, I don't want to spend this much on a shirt. I was like, no, we're going to get a shirt at the concert. We'll buy the shirt. So we ended up buying one, but she was very mad at how much I actually spent on the shirt. But whatever. Like you're there. You want the shit while you're there.
Yeah, that's why you're there. The height of your fandom is when you're in the room. Otherwise, you're just watching on TV like everyone else. Boring. Oh, and then you did get one at Offspring. She sent me the message like, yes, and then I did get one at the Offspring show.
Yes, I know
she said. I know.
She was not thrilled at having to spend that much, but I was like, well, I don't care. It was a birthday gift too. So I was like, yeah, we're going to buy this shirt. Who cares?
I never got my birthday gift for my family because I was so indecisive.
Well.
That's just kind of who I am. Yeah. I'm a very indecisive human being. Why I run a show like this? Don't know. Why? By the way, if you're going to get the new Tribal Chief shirt for anybody, the new Roman Reigns shirt, get it for the pharmacists in your life. That's the only person who needs to see the shirt and understand they can wear it under their robe, not their robe. What do they call them? Their jackets, their lab coats. And then when you go to ask them about a prescription, they're like, "Oh no, you don't need one. It's and they rip it open, and everyone's like, that's perfect." So everyone, go get the OTC shirt for your friends who work as pharmacists.
Someone buy me the Levels Above hoodie. I don't think they sell the hoodie anymore, just the shirt. I don't want the shirt. I want the hoodie.
You don't want the goat one?
The
greatness above. Hilarious. What was it? Greatness above all something?
Greatness on a different level.
On another level.
On another level. Yeah, something like that.
That was such an ugly shirt. Oh, more goats in wrestling. Anyway, let's talk about Raw.
Sure.
So we're an hour into the show. We should probably talk about Monday Night Raw.
Who cares?
I know, right? While people are leaving their thumbs up and donating their super chats, Raw was a good show. This was a very positively accepted show. I enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it was the end of the show when we got there. It didn't drag as much. Well, except for that one match that I eventually caught up to Raw on, and I was like, ah, shit. And that was the tag match between Awesome Truth and A-Town Down Under. When I got to that point, I was like, oh no, why do I have to sit through this match without being able to scrub through it? Otherwise, Raw was a really good show. Raw had a lot of really hot stuff coming out of it. They've progressed some stories. They've started some new ones. Plenty to talk about, plenty to start with. I want to start with the Bronson Reed stuff because I love Bronson Reed. I think one of my most favorite interviews was with Bronson Reed. And it was a quick, media day thing. But like, he was such a easygoing, personable human being. And like, you think he's so imposing, and then you meet him and you're like, oh my God, you're just like the best dude. And so to watch him do the thing that he told me in that media scrum where he wanted to protect the tsunami, and like no one's kicked out of it in 5 years at the time, he said, well, here we are, a year, almost, well, more than a year later, and like, man, still making that tsunami the move, and it's protected. And they found a great way to heat him up in a very convincing fashion, very quickly, taking out Seth Rollins, blood capsules and all. But I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that Bronson Reed's getting that shine and getting that moment. What did you think? This is a big opportunity for him.
Look, if they wanted to make somebody, they sure as hell figured out how to make somebody, because Bronson Reed was, I think everyone likes Bronson Reed. I think everyone recognizes Bronson Reed's like a good worker, has value and stuff, but he's just kind of been in the middle or below. I mean, I don't think that's unfair to say. His highest profile stuff, unfortunately, didn't work out earlier this year, where he was probably going to face Rollins at Elimination Chamber, but Rollins was hurt. Bronson Reed's wife was about to deliver a baby, so the timing did not align with everything. And otherwise, Bronson Reed's just kind of been a guy who is just around. He's had some Intercontinental title stuff. He faced Gunther, so like that was good stuff. But that's where he's been. And in one night, they made him into a top guy, going after. And this is how you do it. You go after a top guy. And if you destroy him the way Bronson Reed did, this was not let's brawl and pull apart and okay, now this is the next feud. This is I'm going to kill you type thing. And it worked. Got Bronson over huge. Now I assume Seth, he should be off television for a little while. Bronson should probably kill more people in the coming weeks. And eventually we get Seth and Bronson. And I wouldn't mind if Bronson at least won one of those matches. I don't think it should be lose immediately to Seth and then, okay, it's off the table. I think it can be Bronson wins the first one, Seth valiantly fights back, wins the second one, and then maybe you don't even have to do a third one. Just go on from there. But you've made Bronson, and now the goal is to maintain after this.
Zeno Hour pointing out the obvious. Becky Lynch needs to come back and avenge her husband's death. Fighting.
And Bronson's screwed.
I agree. That's when the man comes around, you ain't got nothing left. The only thing I wonder is, who does Bronson take out next? If he's going to go on this path of destruction, who else makes sense in the Seth Rollins atmosphere and just the way that this story could be told? And I also agree that if they're going to make this more than one match, yeah, Bronson needs to win at least one of them. I don't want to just build him up for one big match. He loses and then he's back to wherever he started, which wasn't very high to begin with. You want to make him, you want to keep him, let him have that moment and let him keep building from there. Maybe it is an Intercontinental Championship feud after this. Don't want Braun Breaker to go face all of a sudden, but there's something to be said about building a guy, having him win, and then lose the feud, but still remain hot. I just don't know who he goes after next. Someone in the chat mentioned Sheamus. It's not a bad idea. Sheamus and Bronson Reed, they were about to start doing stuff, and then they got the Pete Dunne involvement. You could do Sheamus. That's a good idea. And now you start opening up spots for your Intercontinental Championship challengers.
Fuck Bronson Arroyo. Actually, I like Bronson Arroyo. He's fine. I didn't like his pitching motion, though. Bronson Arroyo, so many bad starts the Reds that I sat through. Awful. Sami Zayn's a good call as well. I know Sami and Jay kind of had their moment of we're going to focus on maybe the tag team titles after Sami gets his rematch next week. Bronson and Sami, Bronson and Jay, they got some over baby faces on the Raw side of things. So really they got some over baby faces in the whole company. So there's options for him. This was good because they kind of needed more heels across the board in the company, especially Roman's back. He's a babyface now internally. You don't have to watch the shows. Just look at the internal listing. He's a babyface.
If you didn't already know, he's a babyface. That's right.
Like Priest and Rhea are baby faces. Like their top heels are who? Gunther, Solo, I guess Finn. But Finn had been knocked down so much that he didn't feel like they're doing a good job trying to raise him back up now with this new Judgment Day. Dominic
Breaker.
Breaker's probably up there more than kind of anybody. Drew's the weird one because I view him and Punk as like Drew's definitely positioned as the baby face or as the heel. Sorry. He's definitely positioned as the heel, but they're off almost in their own little world of who's right, who's wrong, side with who you want to type of thing. And until they get back into sort of the WWE universe of things, I don't focus on them as much. And maybe that's my own just fault there, but they don't have a whole lot of top heels compared to the baby faces where you had Sami, you have Jay, Cody, now Roman, LA Knight is there as well. Like Priest is there now. Like they got a lot of top Seth. They got a lot of top baby faces. So you need to make some big time heels. And this was a good making. Randy, Kevin, this is a good making for Bronson here.
Yeah, moving him up the ladder is a good way to go. By the way, it's the McInverse is what we call it now. It's not the McIntyre Vortex or the Punk Vortex. It's the McInverse.
Okay, sure.
Is the inverse of a McIntyre. Anyway, the building of Bronson Reed. That's something that I really wanted to shout out because I thought that it's for all the things you said. In addition to that, just time to let that guy have his shine, have his moments, especially after everything that happened in February, where, like you mentioned, Seth was injured and couldn't defend his World Heavyweight Championship in Australia. And then Bronson had his wife at the time was giving birth. And it turned out to be like just a benefit of circumstance because he said, I wasn't really planning to be taking that time off when she did. It was understood. But then she went into labor and it just worked out, which kind of the best situation to be in this case. We talked about that back in February when it happened. So this is an opportunity for Bronson to be that guy, give him the reins, let him run with it. And again, he's a guy that can talk. He's a guy that can work. He's a guy that does media really well. He is a very good, well-rounded member of that locker room. So let's let him build. Let's let him, work on that. And of course, this all came because CM Punk had come out. And Punk cut a promo earlier before Seth Rollins came out, and that's when we got to the Bronson Reed stuff. But now we got to talk about CM Punk coming out, being happy while also being angry, while being not sad, but also having sad Punk eyes. And he calls out McIntyre. He gets Seth Rollins. He gets Hangman Seth Rollins is what he gets. And then they're going to fight, but then they don't fight because Drew wants the attention. And Drew walks down the stairs and he says, look at me. I've got my bracelet. And we're back to that. And then the Bronson Reed stuff happens. Where are we with Punk right now? Because I like that he chases off Drew. And I like that he then goes backstage. And I so many people have pointed this out, and I will too. He's doing the Adam Pearce. I got to get them right. He goes up to Adam Pearce and he says, where's Drew? I want Drew. I just want to talk to him. And he's making the throat goozle motion as he says it. And stuff like that's hilarious. But the segment itself was it was weird, but it was connected. So it worked. And I just want your general thoughts on where we're at with Punk and with Drew McIntyre.
It was gonna be him doing the happy-go-lucky, I'm happy to just be back type of thing. It felt like the wrong tone for this. He should have been actually pissed off. He should have been pissed that he lost, that Seth came in there and ruined things for him, that Drew still had his bracelet. Like that's how he should have been. Like I didn't think the tone was completely right for the SummerSlam match. Drew talked all this shit leading up to it. You talked all this shit leading up to it. You lost. The dude, then he stole your bracelet back. He put his foot on your chest and posed over you. Then he continued to talk more shit on Twitter of like Walking Dead and CM Punk are both washed. Hang this photo in the Louvre. Like he continued to talk more shit. And you just come out smiling like, I'm happy I'm back because now I'm on my road to WrestleMania. It's like you can be on your road to WrestleMania, but still recognize the gravity of the situation of losing this match and this guy getting another one up on you. I like that he called out Drew wanting to fight. Obviously, then he was distracted by Seth, and I get that as well. It just felt like the wrong tone to come out smiling like that just because he was back, because he made it through the match. I'm happy because I made it through. It's like, okay, like you should want to make it. Like that's not a win or anything, you know? Like
I'm happy I didn't get injured like many of you thought I would. So,
yeah.
ta-da, I did my job. Like, huh?
Yeah, it was like I said on Monday, I thought the intensity lacked for their SummerSlam match based on the build-up and the story they were telling. And I thought the follow-up, the intensity and the tone lacked based on what they should be going for. I thought Punk chasing him and the stuff with Pierce was very good. That helped the overall segment. But the actual, like, his promo coming out and being like, I'm happy playing nice, CM Punk. I don't know. I think he should have come out. It should have been angry. And I guess you can't do too many guys are angry because Damian Priest came out all angry and fired up and stuff. So maybe they just wanted to go a different direction. It's like, well, we've already seen this with Priest. We can't go fully the same way with Punk. Maybe that was their thought. Like, honestly, I could see that being of, we need to go a different direction because we already have one super angry guy wanting to fight the guy who turned on him. But I don't know if I would have done that at all. Maybe the tone should have been, here comes Drew McIntyre should have cut the promo. Drew McIntyre should have cut the promo and gloated with CM Punk. Then Seth comes out and Seth is kind of laughing at McIntyre and kind of doing like, you won because, you know, CM Punk's an idiot and he turned his attention to me. I counted the fall. Here comes Punk, runs in, chases off Drew. Here comes Bronson to attack Seth Rollins. Like maybe that's where it would have gone with things.
Yeah, I'm happy you're getting Rollins away from the story for a little while because, like we mentioned before SummerSlam, it just felt like he got shoehorned in because they wanted to put him on the card because he's Mr. SummerSlam. It's kind of like what they did with Shawn Michaels back in '97 with that match. It was just, here's Shawn Michaels. He's part of the story. I promise. He's still part of it. There is a history, but he's just not in the match. So have fun. That's kind of what we're doing here with Rollins when it came to SummerSlam. Now that we're out, now that we're moving Rollins into a feud or at least a story with Bronson Reed, that's good. Frees him up to work there. And then you'll have Drew and CM Punk continue what they're doing. And yeah, I get that people are getting upset about the friendship bracelet thing. Again, when the story becomes personal, they got to make it personal beyond just the friendship bracelet, or at least continue to talk about it in a way where it's so incredibly important to the wrestler, to the reason why they're feuding, to the reason why he needs it back, or why he sees it as disrespectful that it's being taken from him or it's been stolen from him and is his property. And he takes, you know, it's his way of taking his family on the road with him. It's his way of showing people that he loves his family, blah, blah, blah. Emote that in a way where people can really understand it and don't just assume people know everything. And yes, sometimes you got to hit them over the head with that. And sometimes you got to repeat it over and over again and just get it in people's heads. Like, this is a thing. This is a device that we're using to motivate the feud. That's okay. It's not going to be for a title right now because the title doesn't need it, but it needs the heat that is going to make this feud work forward.
See, I don't mind the friendship bracelet stuff. I think they've actually done a very good job with it. And I guess the question or the maybe concern, I don't know if it's concern, but maybe question of, is it necessary for this feud? I think that's sort of the disconnect for people. Maybe I'm speaking, I don't want to speak for everybody when it comes to the friendship bracelet stuff. I'm trying to look at this from a different perspective. Again, I don't mind it. I think they've done a good job with it. I think they've made it make sense of why Drew is taking it. I think they've made it make sense of why Punk wants it back. They've made it make sense of Drew continue to use it to goad him and everything. The question is, was it necessary for this feud? It feels like there was already enough meat for this to where you didn't need the friendship bracelet stuff. And I think that's where, again, I don't want to speak for people, but maybe that's where people are not liking this of like, okay, these guys already hate each other. They're already trolling each other. There's already a real story here. Drew has hinted at like, Punk ruined my career a decade ago. Like, Drew's already said some of this stuff that he hasn't fully told, according to him. So there's already stuff there. There's already real stuff there that they can play off of. So do they need this friendship bracelet stuff added to it? And I think that's where people are like, no, knock it off with this.
Chad is very accurately and should be asking the question, are they selling the bracelets? And honestly, I think they should. By the time they get to Bad Blood, if they haven't already settled the bracelet, they should be selling the bracelet. And then CM Punk sees all of them in the crowd and just goes berserk because he's the only guy in the crowd that doesn't have one.
I wouldn't sell AJ and Larry bracelets because that is like, it's something. Yeah. I would 100% be selling CM Punk friendship bracelets. 100%. How are they not selling these things already?
It would be fun if maybe that'll be the merchandise payoff is that Punk wins the feud and then it's instead of the ice cream bars, they're putting friendship bracelets on sale. And I'm kind of saying that half tongue in cheek, but like I could see a world where they do that. They sell the CM Punk friendship bracelets at the end of the story because Punk got his happy ending. And this is how he wanted to give back, pay money for my friendship bracelets. And it'll cost $10 at the stop before the cash register.
They should sell Punk bracelets and they should sell Drew bracelets. And then wrestling fans, when they see each other in the streets, they're like, what kind of bracelet you got? Oh, I got a Drew bracelet. Oh, I got a Punk bracelet. And then they start fighting right there on the streets. And the winner gets both bracelets.
See, I was under the impression that you were going to say one sells one name, the other is the other name, they're different colors. And when you get to Survivor Series, they do a match with the bracelets. It's Team Punk and Team Drew. The winner gets the bracelets.
Oh, okay. This is actually good. Okay, so we got CM Punk bracelets. We got Drew McIntyre bracelets.
And they got to say DM Hunk. Sorry, they got to be CM Punk bracelets and DM Hunk bracelets. I agree with that.
So to pick their Survivor Series teams, they get handed their bracelets. Like Punk's going backstage and he's like handing out his bracelets. He's going up to Sami Zayn and he's like, Sammy, I need you on my Survivor Series team. And Sammy's like, I don't know, Uso. I'm over here with Jey Uso. I might be on Roman's team. Let me figure it out. And Punk's like, I got this bracelet here for you. See this bracelet? This bracelet means I trust you. This bracelet means you mean something to me. So I'm going to give you this bracelet. And this means we are bonded now. Through this bracelet, we are bonded. Wherever I go, wherever you go, we're with each other through this bracelet. And Sammy's like, all right. That's exactly what I'm getting at. And Sammy's like, all right, Uso, I'm with you. Like, we could fill up an entire Raw doing these segments. Drew's going around. He's looking at Bronson Reed. He's like, Bronson. I'm not trying to do a Scottish accent. I'll fuck it up.
He's Bronson, not Scottish. Oh, you mean Drew? Drew's Scottish. They were doing Bronson Reed Scottish. No. He's not.
Drew goes up to Bronson. He's like, I like what you're doing out there, going after Seth Rollins. He's an idiot. Yeah, that was good stuff. You want to fuck up CM Punk as well? And Bronson's like, yeah. He's like, take this bracelet. You take this bracelet. Now we are bonded. We are fighting and forged together. Bronson's like, hell yeah. Let's go out there. Bracelets, baby. That's how you win. That's how you win the Survivor Series match too, by the way. That's how you the War Games match. Fuck all this quitting. You got to take the bracelets off your opponents. Yeah. And once your opponents are completely disarmed with the bracelets, that's the end of the match.
That's it. We did it. We figured it out.
But I'm trying to decide if you lose your bracelet, like you're out. Maybe it's like dodgeball. It's like dodgeball, when you get you go and you can tag the person back in. If they're sitting down, you can tag them and they'll pop back in. Like maybe if you steal back a bracelet and you hand it back to them. So Bronson Reed pins Jey Uso, or not, it doesn't pin him. Sorry, because we're not doing that. Bronson Reed steals Jey Uso's bracelet. So Jey Uso's eliminated. So Jey just has to lay down or go somewhere else. I don't know. Go to the corner. Go sit in the corner, Jey. But then Sammy steals back Bronson's bracelet. He steals back the CM Punk bracelet from Bronson and hands it to Jey. So Jey could get back in the match now. Right? I think I figured this all out. This is real, fuck this Survivor Series, how they've been doing it. This is new, fresh ideas right here.
Yeah, we're really workshopping an A+ idea here is what we're doing. Anyway.
You're going to introduce these bracelets to a blood feud. I'm going to introduce these bracelets to a match that's designed to be a blood blow-off match, all right?
Blood blow-off is a whole other company work.
Blood and Guts would be so much better if they just had a bunch of bracelets in there.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like thumbtack bracelets, because that's what you do. Anyway, so remember on Monday's show on main channel when we were like, hey, remember when Randy Orton and Gunther never got their match? And then by Monday night, well, they're doing it at Bash in Berlin. Randy Orton and Gunther are going to face off for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is a good spot for Gunther to be in, potentially, presumably the main event of this PLE, and he will retain his world championship, get his decisive, definitive win over a legend like Randy Orton. It's going to be a hot crowd. They're going to be all into it. I like that they're going there. I like that Randy came out, and I love that Gunther was like, "You got me there." When he came out, oh, I didn't expect that one. So, what do you think? They're finally doing the thing we told them to do.
Yeah, I'm glad they circled back around to it like they needed to. It's a good first feud for Gunther. Randy Orton elevates everyone. Honestly, it feels like a big deal when Randy Orton is involved, and Gunther to kick the shit out of him in Germany. It's going to be good. So I'm glad they got back around to it. I hope Randy goes into business for himself and his shoulders are up again.
I think that they'll do the sleeper again, like they did with the Damian Priest match. And Randy's like, I'm not going to eat a pin again. I already ate a pin. And you saw what happened. And instead, it'll just be he'll okay, fine. You're going to submit. I don't submit. My character doesn't submit to anything. Okay, then you're going to pass out in the sleeper. Yeah, all right, we can do that. And then it's just going to be Randy passes out in the sleeper, Gunther retains, and it'll be a dominant performance. If he eats the pin, great. I hope that it's like they do the flurry of finishes, and that's how he puts down Randy Orton. But instead, I like that they're doing it. Someone's asking, why did they give a SmackDown guy a world title match? Because Triple H said that we would do it again. Yeah, and this time it was Gunther who they cashed it in. They said they wanted it. They said they were going to do it. Triple H said, we'll do it. Here we are. We're going to do it. May as well get it out of the way. Other than that, if they were going to wait until Gunther was 6 months deep into this title reign, I don't know how long it'll be, but if they did it that far in, it would have been like, all right, we're just running out of opponents, aren't we? Instead, it's hot, it's fresh, get it out of the way. And this way, by the end of the night, if they open up with Randy and Gunther, by the end of the night, Randy's going to take out Cody Rhodes when he successfully defends his title against God knows who. And then it'll be Randy versus Cody at whatever comes next. I guess that is Bad Blood, but there's room there. Randy could bookend the show, which is hilarious because it's Randy, but you would do it and it would work. So Gunther, Randy, here we are, finally doing it.
It was a good segment. It's a good match for Gunther's first title defense, and I'm looking forward to it. Made a lot of sense. I'm glad they circled back around on it. We mentioned on Monday. I mentioned this on social media weeks ago, months ago, maybe at this point. I'm actually pull it up to put myself over of when I mentioned Gunther and Randy Orton because I certainly don't tweet too much about Randy Orton. Although some people got mad that I said Randy Orton was better than Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, which I mean, it's just factual, honestly. Like, what do we? I feel like that's complete facts, but whatever. Maybe not. Maybe other people think differently.
Well, it is a subjective art form.
I don't think it's very subjective. I think that Randy Orton is definitely better than Flair and Steamboat.
Okay. Run with that.
I already did.
Facts. Spit facts, King. Are you looking up that? Are you looking up the tweet about Randy and Gunther or what?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. July 7th. So literally a month ago, I tweeted, remember when Triple H addressed the finish to Randy, Gunther in King of the Ring finals, and then nothing happened. So I was on this. Took him a month. They got there, though.
Boris mentioning Gunther didn't call Randall street trash. Wonder why. It's because this is only the first week. When we get to week 3, well, I guess we're only 2 weeks away. When we get to the next week, that's when he's going to call Randy street trash. Randall street trash Orton. That's what the K stands for. Street trash. Did you see? So Sean had mentioned this before, but it's out there. Huck to a Girl attending SummerSlam was our most visited article of the weekend, by the way. And then Jimmy just retweeted it and said 100,000 page views on that one article, which is absolutely bonkers. Shout out to the news writer.
I didn't write that article.
Why didn't you write that article? Could you just say that it was you?
No, I don't take credit for other people's work. The problem is people are, never mind.
Well, you were at the show, so I guess I can't really expect that you had done the job, which you've written articles while at the job.
I have.
You have. You have done transcripts live at shows. I do know that story. Hawk to a Girl's a draw, baby. There it is. And you know who else is a draw? The Wyatt Sicks. They had their debut match. I know you're very excited about this. I know you enjoyed every minute of it. They won. So did I didn't get the pin. I wish I had, but unfortunately I had other things to attend to instead. My Rob Zombie cosplayer Dexter Loomis gets the pin, and there we go. We're off to the races. The Wyatt Sicks are now officially in there. They're officially in the ring and wrestling. No masks needed. They had a good time. They had a fun time. It was an emotional time. I guess the question becomes, the hell do you do next?
They keep killing people.
All right, I'm glad we're back. Then I know a lot of people brought this up. They said, why? Oh, this is by. Oh, sorry. If we could, we would. If we could get her on, I would love to pick her brain about a lot of different things, mostly wrestling. So, there was a lot of discourse, I guess you could say, about what happens next. And I know that you're going to be like, oh, they should keep murdering people. That's fine. I get it. Instead, I'm interested as to, is there a tag team? Is this a team that wants titles? Is this a team that just wants to fight people and be good? Is this a storytelling team? Are they a means to an end? Everyone in wrestling should technically want to be the best and therefore go for wrestling titles, but maybe this team doesn't. It's hard to see that though when you're wrestling and you are climbing up the ranks by being a dominant force. So I'm curious as to where that could go next. Are they going to be a title team, or are they just going to be a group of misfits trying to come together?
I don't think they're done with the Creeds and Gable.
That's fair. I agree with you, but eventually they're going to move away from them. That's always where is it? Where do they fit?
I think they're going to go into something with Judgment Day at some point. It's very clear what their motives are. Their motives are going after people who have turned their back on family. We know this. So they don't need to get involved into any title picture as long as they have the motive of you turned your back on family. We are going to make you pay for those sins. I don't think they have to go into. I mean, if the Judgment Day are the tag team champions at that point, then maybe it becomes a thing. But if not, then they're not. Like maybe Sammy and Jay win the titles. Like who knows? But they have motives. Their motives have been more or less specified. So I don't think we need to start putting them, because that was the issue with Bray, is the Fiend got over on first debut when he destroyed Finn Balor. And then it was, let's put him in the title picture. They can't make that mistake again, because then you almost book yourself into a corner. Now, they haven't done the everyone it looks supernatural and takes no damage and moves on from there. So that's at least one thing where they're not booking themselves into a corner like they did with Bray. But they've made the motive very clear. If titles get involved, then titles get involved. But if not, we know who they're going after. We know their reasons for going after certain people.
But if titles get involved, then titles get involved almost devalues the importance of a title, right?
How?
The way that you made it sound was kind of flippant. It was the idea that if they're going after someone who, or a group that have wronged other family, and the title happens to be around that group, then they're just going after the titles. But really the main objective is getting back at the family that, or you know what I mean? Like doing the family gimmick.
Right. But maybe the titles aren't involved. Like, I don't know if Judgment Day is their next targets. I don't know if Judgment Day is going to be the champions when they do get targeted. Again, if the titles are there, then yes, maybe the titles will be part of it. And then the Wyatts can make that clear as well. You can make the titles as important to the story or as not important to the story as you want to make them. But their motives are very clear when it comes to family.
Right. Okay. No, I was asking for clarification just because of the way you worded it. The going back to the why don't they just, murder people again? This was something that I saw a few people bring up. It's, in their first week, they went and they took out all these people and it looked like they had, caused mass havoc and blah, blah, blah. In my head canon, and I hope that they kind of touch on this, the meeting that Pierce had with Bo Dallas was an explanation of what happened. And maybe there were circumstances, or maybe there was some sort of arrangement, not a suspension, but some sort of consequence to their actions, but we don't know yet. And I'm hoping that they kind of bring that back up because, first week they were very dominant and they did the thing and they took out a bunch of people, including Chad Gable at the time. And everyone thought he was dead. But instead, they went back to not doing that immediately. But the way that they debuted was enough that people are still talking about it. And I'm hoping that they at least discuss what made them pull back. And I think, like I said, the meeting with Bo and Pierce was supposed to motivate the idea that he explained himself. And now they're just on the show. They're merging into traffic, as I say.
Well, Pierce kind of mentioned this when he's like, yeah, I know who they are. They're under contract here. Like, before, when they, I guess, weren't under contract, you could make it, they're this vigilante group who have just destroyed everything and are causing a bunch of chaos and stuff. Like, they're hacking everything. They are hacking the Twitch. They're doing the QR codes, and then this is how they debut. But then, yeah, Pierce has the meeting with Bo. Pierce says, they're in a contract. Now the videotapes don't have to be delivered. We just play the tape during the show because they're under contract. Now there's an understanding of you're not going to murder a bunch of production people. You were part of the show. You want to go after certain people? Okay, go after certain people. It's pro wrestling. That's what we're going to do. But you got to have some type of line here when it comes to being under contract. I don't know if they need a full-on explanation on this. Like, I understand maybe some people want it, but then it comes into, do you want to be head over the head with stuff, or do you want stuff to simmer a little bit and you want to kind of almost make it up in your own head of what the bigger explanation is? They gave you a logical explanation. If they're in a contract, okay, I can buy that. They gave you the line. Does Pierce need to give a full-on, I'm not saying you're saying this, but does he need to do a 5-minute monologue of why none of this stuff is happening anymore? Don't know. So I think I think that is the explanation. Is Pierce said, yeah, I know it's Gacy and Loomis and Rowan and Bo and Nikki. Like, they're under contract. Oh, all right. That's why this stuff isn't happening to this level anymore.
That's fine. Again, I bring it up because I saw other people mentioning it, and I said, if you want to tie a bow, that's one way you can do it. But maybe you don't need to. Maybe you just need to suspend your disbelief and let it be that they came in, they talked to Pierce, and Pierce was like, all right, you're a bunch of misfits, but you have contracts, so we're just going to keep this going, which is fine by me. So instead, if they go on, I think Judgment Day is a good idea for a next feud. Although they gotta work on some other stuff first. I don't know how long the stuff with Chad Gable and well, I guess now they're American made. I don't know how much longer you can go with that. Do you do it all the way through August and do a match at the Bash in Berlin? Feels like that should be their real pay-per-view PLE debut. And is that Gable versus Bo one-on-one?
Yeah, I'm very curious of what further, because again, I don't think they're done with American made. But where do you go from here after you've already beat them? You can maybe do something with Ivy Nile, because Ivy Nile was part of the backstage and Nikki getting involved. But is the payoff going to be Bo and Gable? And is Bo wrestling his Uncle Howdy? And how does that look? So I'm curious of where you go from all of this, because I don't think it's done. But now, what's the follow up of this? And that's for them to hopefully have a real good explanation for. I understand they're not going to lose their first match. I'm not saying beat them right out of the gate, but you don't need to. And I think this with a lot of acts. I said this with Cargill and basically anyone. I'm not the biggest fan of undefeated streaks unless you got like a full plan of what this undefeated streak is going to turn into. It just seems easier to beat someone, let it be established that they can lose and it's okay, and then not have to worry about booking around them not losing.
Yeah. With Bo, going back to the mask comment that you made, it does feel to me like he will take it off. But I know that he was in it. He was wearing it on Monday night. That said, anyone who is not in the match, I feel like they're just going to keep the mask on. But when they wrestle, they take it off. That's, to me, that's kind of the big differentiator, and that's how they should play it if I'm the one booking it.
And I think that was the smart way to do it. They wrestled, they took the mask off. Like, I thought they should just keep the mask on, kill people. I think that's much funnier. I think that's a much better idea. But I understand, it's a wrestling show. We gotta have wrestling on the wrestling show. Dumb. But I do like that Bo. I was worried of Bo. What's he gonna do? Just be at ringside, like, let's go, Wyatt, pounding the mat and shit. I thought him just sitting in the rocking chair, his Uncle Howdy, cackling throughout. Like, I thought that was a good choice to kind of do. So, I like the presentation. I thought they did as well as they could have, trying to blend and blur their presentation with also being a wrestling act.
And the real last but not least from Monday Night Raw, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. They're definitely working together, and they're definitely going to be kicking some ass. This was really good stuff, man. I really enjoyed the match between JD McBighead and Damian Priest and everything that came with it. They did the setup with Damian running down to the ring to cut his promo. He did all business. All business. Damian Priest works. People were absolutely loving him. They went behind. They got behind him. And they did the reveal via video, and that's not something you typically do in WWE with a big hot angle like this. Finn sitting on the stairs, and everyone kind of they pan out. Everyone walks in, or everyone comes in. So Judgment Day 3.0 has come, and this is a different Judgment Day. And I like that this is a different Judgment Day because we had Edge. Edge is gone. That was a huge change, and now you had Finn and Rhea. Those were the next two. Now they're gone. And this is a big change with now Liv. And I guess officially Carlito being a part of the Judgment Day, which is one of these things is not like the other, but at least he's still doing something for now. And JD McBighead does the match against Damian later on. Shenanigans. Rhea makes her appearance. That's a huge pop. She gets a little bit of a payback on Liv Morgan, and they hug. Damian and Rhea do. And it looks like those two are now going to take on Judgment Day 3.0. It's good. I like where it's going.
That Rhea, that pop she got. She was over on that. Over. I didn't think Carlito was ever going to join Priest. Carlito was the kind of... He was always the lackey who was there hanging out, and he's the comedy-ish act. Here's one thing I think they got to do with this new Judgment Day. reestablishing Finn is very good because Finn can clearly be like the guy for the group, but he was secondary at best for the past year with Damian getting Money in the Bank and the rise of Rhea as well. Finn was second on the list, maybe third if you want to put Priest and Rhea over him. Certainly third for the end of last year when Rhea was really hot and Priest was having the Money in the Bank, and beginning of this year, really, until Rhea got hurt, and then Rhea was off television. So then Finn kind of went past her just because she wasn't there anymore. So they got to really reestablish Finn as the guy calling the shots and as a real credible threat. Then it becomes JD, Dominic, and Carlito, who have all been kind of treated as secondary, third tier people just on the show. Dominic gets a lot of heat, obviously, but he's, it's not like he's beating a bunch of people. It's not like he's really posed as this really credible threat to anything. JD, he's went after the tag team champions. They've done okay with him. They probably do a little bit more. Carlito's just there to say that's cool. Liv feels like right now the more second in charge with everything, pulling the strings of, and I hope this is something that'll get explained in the coming weeks of how she kind of manipulated things. Again, it's clear if you watch the show how things played out. You could see it, but they also like to do some type of explanation, and so doing more of that with Liv, because we didn't get a Dominic or Liv like speaking on Raw, and I thought that was a choice. I'm not saying it was a good choice or a bad choice. I thought it was a choice to let that whole thing breathe for a week. I think it ended up being a good choice because there was so much going on the show that like you didn't need that. So letting it breathe for a week and now you have something in your pocket for next week is probably a good thing. It could have been a bad choice if they didn't look the show the way they did, but they did. So I thought it was a good choice overall. But I could see if people are like, "Oh, we didn't hear from them." Well, yeah, now they have something in their pocket for the following week. But Priest, we know he's a killer. Rhea, we know she's a killer. So you gotta now establish people beyond Balor as real killers in this group so they can go toe to toe. They'll have the numbers and that'll always help, but you got to put somebody on that level with them, with more with Priest and Rhea beyond Balor.
Bronson Reed.
I don't think that's the answer, but I can see it.
Someone just put Omos in Judgment Day.
That would be hilarious, actually.
That would be hilarious. He could be their bad luck Fale. Omos carrying Finn to the ring on his shoulders. Oh my God, there it is. I would love it. It would be very funny, very comical. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of build in the Judgment Day to make the other members important as well. The Bronson Reed comment got me again.
Maybe this is where Penta and Phoenix come in. I'm just kidding.
As members, hold on for a second. I know you're saying just kidding, but like, first of all, you got a few weeks until that could even be a potential. But like, as members of Judgment Day, well, Penta Oscuro, you could have him. But like Dark Phoenix, have we seen Dark Phoenix? Dark Brooding Phoenix?
No, I mean
Phoenix Oscuro. Yeah, we done Dark Penta, and we know what that looks like. It's fine.
Lucha Underground Penta is like one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, because they were able to shoot around the things.
Yeah, it rolled.
So one thing when people love the Lucha Bros, I'm like, I get it. Also, I know the other side of it. So this Judgment Day has potential. It just comes down to how you build the other two members, because other three, I don't know. Dominic's on his own. Dominic he's in a world of his own because it's so funny that it's. You're not watching Dominic for the wrestling. You're watching Dominic for the story that he is and the shit that he's caused. It's hilarious. The dude, you want to talk about Roman Reigns being the best worker in the business? Dominic Mysterio is going to give Roman Reigns a run for his money if Roman's not careful. Roman can make billions and squillions of dollars.
They said it last year. Dominic was working like so many shows. So he's not there yet. Dominic actually. He didn't wrestle a lot on television. He's been hurt. In fairness to Dom, he's been hurt for most of this year. But like last year, that man worked like 200 matches or something last year.
Well, he got his reps in. There's no doubt about that. It's just looking at, and again, yeah, the injury did play into it, but like he was doing some of his most memorable work while he was not wrestling. And that is that's a pretty amazing thing to do when you're that young into the business. So Judgment Day Purple, Judgment Day Black, sure, whatever it is. Maybe the Lucha Bros join with the Terror Twins. That's how you do it. You bring
Nah,
them.
I don't like that.
And you give them Jose the assistant as their talking guy.
Nah, I'd rather the Lucha Bros. I don't know if they're coming in. We're just fantasy speculating here, but I think them as Judgment Day could be something different. I'm trying to think of who else would sort of fit that maybe we're not thinking, because one thing we didn't really talk about, but Odyssey Jones coming in and being a new member of sort of New Day here was certainly out of the blue. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. So who is potential, like an Odyssey Jones, maybe somebody from NXT that sort of might fit don't give me Lexus King either, that could fit the Judgment Day vibe.
Hank and Tank. I don't know, because you could, I mean, Eddie Thorpe. I know Eddie's not dark and brooding, but he's talking about Lexus King and his people. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know who fits right now, because they're not doing many dark brooding male NXT characters, right? Tatum Paxley and Wendy Chu are the current dark brooding people. Sean Spears is another one. Spears doesn't work for this though. Spears isn't dark and brooding. He's just old and angry and thinks he's the teacher.
Spears could work. I don't feel like dark broody type stuff. I know that's sort of the vibe-ish of Judgment Day, but you need somebody that's presented as a real kind of credible. You know who could actually work? Braun Strowman. I know you'd be turning Braun heel, which I think is fine. They got enough baby faces. But I think Braun is a big heater for this group. Could actually really work.
Someone saying Wesley turned on his friends and Rascals because he found new friends in Judgment Day. I don't hate it, but it would actually work. Braun did mention about the Wyatt Sicks stuff being like, I'm drawn to it, but keep me away from it. Maybe that is foreshadowing. It could be the Wyatts go after Braun next down the line, or that Braun joins with them. I don't know what to expect, but it's all part of the journey. I don't know how they're going to even out the stuff with Judgment Day and Rhea and Dom. Rhea and I got so used to that. Rhea and Damian. There's got to be another tag team that fits with them. I just don't know who it is.
I don't think you need to.
It's going to be Sammy and Jay before they go to SmackDown.
I don't think you need to pair anybody with Rhea and Priest. Like I don't, because again, JD is sort of second. Carlito is below that. Dom is not really a serious threat. Like it's Balor is the guy and Liv is the girl. So that is Priest and Rhea right there. Like they're on their own. They have a strong enough presence. If you had Sammy and Jay, that's just overwhelming Judgment Day right there. They got to lift Judgment Day. They don't need to do anything with Dom or with Damian and Rhea, because they're already very strong. They got to do something to lift Judgment Day, to bring them up to Damian and Rhea's level, not add more numbers for Damian and Rhea, because I think they're already strong enough, just them two.
I like this idea. I didn't think I would at first, but the idea that Balor gives up the tag title to Carlito and says it's Carlito and JD as the tag team champions. They're the ones defending. And then Finn can do whatever story he's doing with Damian Priest.
Well, then Christopher Daniels comes out and is like, no, we can't do that. I don't like this idea of you taking the title. We're going to strip you of the tag team titles. I don't know about that.
That's fine by me. This is the one time where I'd be totally okay with it. No one else in Judgment Day. They didn't freebird the tag titles in Judgment Day, did they? Originally? No. It was only New Day that really did that.
Okay, so I'm going to throw another name. I've sold myself a little bit on Braun Strowman kind of being a big heater for Judgment Day. I don't like this idea as much, but I just kind of want him on television. I think it'd be a different role for him. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
Dark
Dark brooding Shinsuke.
Yeah, like he was already kind of doing that shit with Cody.
He was doing
so it's not fully out of the realm of possibility. Is you can heat up a guy like Shinsuke very quickly. Like you can again, the same way we saw them heat up Bronson Reed. Like you can heat up some of these guys very quickly if you haven't killed their credibility to a certain point. And I know Shinsuke, people maybe think that is the case, but like the dude was losing to Cody Rhodes. Okay, this isn't the worst thing in the world for a guy. So I'm looking at maybe a Shinsuke being another type of heater for this group. Those are the two names I would throw out there: Strowman and Shinsuke.
And then maybe Karrion Kross and his crew can join up with Damian Priest.
Nah, they can just honestly, them merging. I don't love the idea, but
no. What is the name of that Karrion Kross group anyway? Does anyone know? I can't remember it.
Nah, I don't like that.
The TikTok talk too much guys.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just not good. Anyway, as we start to wind down, AEW Dynamite preview tonight. Is there anything else from Raw that you want to point out? Again, very strong episode of Raw. We touched on it. But is there anything else that's worth bringing up?
I feel like we talked about just it was a good show. It flew by. These 3-hour Raws, everyone says it, but it's tough to make them interesting for the entire 3 hours. And they found a way the entire year or the entire show to make it pretty interesting. So I didn't feel like it ever lagged. Even I know people were like, the Cross and Wood stuff, whatever. But that had a payoff with Odyssey Jones, so I didn't fully mind that. It felt like there was a payoff to every single kind of match. So I thought it was a good show overall.
Me too. And they're also, again, with the Odyssey Jones stuff, there's stuff actually happening beyond the TikToker shit. There's going to be, the Odyssey Jones and Odyssey Jones with Kofi while Woods is there feeling, unsure of what's going on. I like that there's something there. I like that they're going to keep building on that. It's going to be good stuff. So looking forward to where that goes. Yeah, people are mentioning the women's trios factions. Who's going to get supremacy in the women's division? The answer is who knows? Who cares? Right now, just working on it. What are you writing?
These people who are look at this. All right. Hold on. I don't know if you can read it. My handwriting's very bad. You see this? Cross joining Judgment Day.
Yeah.
You see this, Joel?
Yeah, I see this.
Trash.
Wow. That is a thing. You really went in on these people.
So I'm gonna start doing, everybody. You start putting out bad ideas. I got a trash can here. I'm gonna trash all your bad ideas. I'm gonna write them down. I'm going to put them in the bin. And then at the end of the year, we're going to revisit all the bad ideas that the chat and Joel have had.
No, it's going to be after one episode. Things going to be overflowing.
Well, stop having terrible ideas.
That's the first
one. That's the first one.
Can't do anything
Cross
about that.
Joining Judgment Day. Trash idea.
Looking forward to going back to these. Seriously, how much trash can even fit in there?
Are you kidding me? Look at this thing. It's just pieces of paper.
It's not very big, that bin, though.
You can fit a lot in here. You don't know how many of these things we got, Joel. You'd be... I got 12 kids.
That is a fair point.
Got a lot of trash bins.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. A lot of trash bins just for you. And there will be street trash. Dynamite tonight. Do you want to do the things?
They don't have a whole lot announced.
No, they don't. There's really only 4 things. There's 4 matches announced.
That's slow for a Dynamite.
That means they're really expecting something to go down with both of these matches that are big. Like Mariah May versus Viva Van. Huh? Shane O'Mac's showing up tonight. They're in North Carolina. So, Dynamite tonight. They haven't done a graphic yet, have they? I'm looking at the AW on TV account. Nope, nothing. They normally have the lineup graphic. Yeah, they don't have that. I'm assuming more stuff is going to be announced. I'm guessing a lot of stuff hasn't been announced because Tony was abroad for a week almost. So they didn't put a lot of stuff together beyond the 4 matches that they have. It's not me taking a shot. It's just typically Tony's announcing things throughout the weekend and all that. So that is what it is. But yeah, 4 matches announced. Like I said, Mariah May versus Viva Van. There's going to be that. MJF mentioned driving 10.5 hours because of all the... Oh, that's probably why they haven't announced stuff, is because they've been having travel delays. People trying to get around to North Carolina because of the storms that have been going on. So that probably plays into it. Yeah, MJF said he couldn't get a flight out to North Carolina, so he's driving from where he is. Brian Keith is going to take on Katsuyori Shibata. That's on the docket. And the AW American Championship Eliminator match that we mentioned, MJF is going to take on the one and only Kyle Fletcher. Fleshlights are going to be out in full force. That's his thing, not me. I'm just promoting his thing. Just saying what I'm saying. And anything goes, which is hilarious for these two. The main event, presumably, is Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett in the preview to the All Out main event. Ricky Steamboat will be a special guest. Special guest what? I do not know. But he will be a special guest. That's Dynamite. That's all that's announced.
Good job with the lineup, Joel.
Thank you. Special guest what? I don't know what he's doing. Is he going to be a referee?
Nah.
Is he going to be there?
He's going to chill, you know?
He's going to get a hammock at ringside.
Let him live.
Yeah, that's true. Just let him cook.
He's going to be like, oh, sorry, Randy Orton couldn't make it. You got to settle for Ricky Steamboat.
Ricky Stark should show up and beat up Ricky Steamboat again. That's what should happen.
I mean, that'd be great if this is how Ricky returns, but I don't think we're going to get that.
Probably not. Anyway, that's Dynamite for tonight. It's going to be a show, and I'm looking forward to Jarrett and Danielson and how they start, moving forward closer to All In. Why these two are fighting. We'll see. Well, we know why, but how they fight will be the other question. That's it. That's the show. Do you have anything to plug this week? Today?
I never have anything to plug. You know this, Joel.
Yeah, once in a while, though. It's going to be the one time I don't ask is the time that you like, oh, by the way, such and such is happening. So I'm just saying, that happens.
Never have anything to plug.
Well, I do. We're back on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern until noon-ish. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe we'll go over. Maybe we'll even get a guest. We'll see. How about that? Would you like that? Can we do that? We'll try it. Who knows? Maybe we will. Anyway, for Jeremy Lambert, I'm Actual Pearl. JOELPEARL. If you haven't already, leave a thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends, do all the things. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.